Hi guys, in this video I wanted to talk about a topic that has been on my mind lately, and it's because there's a phrase that's been thrown around basically my whole life, and a lot of people say this. I've talked to my friends and they say it too, and it's that money can't buy happiness, or you can't buy happiness with money. And I just wanted to give my thoughts on this. Now the thing is, what I see the problem is that most people answer this question as like a yes or no question, and I think it's much more complicated than that. It's not really that money does make you happy or money doesn't make you happy. It depends on a lot of the context, because I've been in poverty before. I've grown up in poverty. My family was on food stamps and Section 8 housing, so I know what it's like to be without money. And I also know what it's like to finally pay off my debts and have a nice income. So I kind of know things on both sides to an extent. I'm not a billionaire, obviously, but I know what it's like to live without money and with money. So I wanted to give my thoughts on this. So, first of all, I think it depends on the situation, because let's say that you're already a billionaire and all your expenses are already covered. You don't need to worry about falling behind on rent. You probably don't even pay rent because you could afford to just buy houses. You don't have to worry about not being able to afford food to eat and things like that, right? That's what I'm assuming. If you're super rich, you don't have to worry about those things. But if you're super poor, I've been in a situation where every dollar matters. Every cent matters. And it's really tough to enjoy life and be happy when you have to worry about, how am I going to afford to eat food this week, or how am I going to make enough money to pay the rent, and my student loan debt and things like that. There's a lot of things you have to. I'm not going to speak for other people. I'll speak for myself. There's a lot of things that I had to worry about when I was poor, because I needed money to be able to sustain certain aspects of my life. And it's really tough. When I was poor, it was really tough, honestly. And I wasn't happy. I was happy in some aspects, but it would be wrong to say that money wouldn't have made me any happier. It would have immediately solved a lot of my problems. And now that I'm out of debt and I paid off my student loans, and I'm at a point where I can afford food to eat, without having to really think about it, I can honestly say that I am happier than before. So, but it still isn't a yes or no question, because the way I see it, if you're already rich and you don't have to worry about those things, then an extra, $1,000 or whatever isn't going to make you super happy or anything. So let's take an amount like $10,000, right? If you already have $1 billion, an extra $10,000 isn't going to change your life for the better by a significant amount, because you already have a lot of money. However, let's say that you have nothing. You have $0 and you're in debt. An extra $10,000, that would immediately solve a lot of problems. So the way I see it is, if you're on the top, money doesn't really add a lot. But if you're on the bottom and you're poor and struggling, money would make a huge difference in that situation. That's how I see it personally, because of what I've been through. And it's just, a lot of the times when I see people saying that money doesn't buy happiness or money doesn't make you happy, it's coming from people who are already wealthy, or they're already doing well for themselves. My friend recently, he already owns a house. He has a good job. Now, the thing is, money doesn't solve all of your problems, right? There are some things that money can't solve. For example, just because you have lots of money doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be people who genuinely care about your well-being, right? That doesn't make people like you as a person just because you have money. I don't think that's the case. And same thing with loneliness. Let's say that you feel like you don't really belong anywhere, and you can't really find a place for yourself, money won't exactly solve that problem directly. So there are some problems that money can't solve, but it's also, I think it would be also wrong to say that money doesn't solve any problems, because I feel like there's plenty of problems that money directly solves, like rent, food, you know, transportation, things like that. So money does solve a lot of problems directly. That's why I feel like, of course, if you already have money to solve these problems, you're not going to really feel the effects of it because you haven't had to live without it. However, because I know what living without it is like, I appreciate it more that I have money now, because I understand what difference it makes being with or without money, right? So yeah, that's the way I see it, is when you're poor and struggling, money makes a huge difference, and it does bring a lot of happiness because it gets rid of a lot of stress. A lot of worries that you had before, it gets rid of them, right? Specific problems, not all of your problems, but specific problems that money solves. I mean, it solves, and having less stress and being more carefree and not having to worry about things and being more comfortable in your life, I would say that is happiness. Like, that does bring happiness. So yes, on the low end, when you're poor, I believe that money does buy happiness. On the high end, when you already have these things, money can buy some happiness, but not to the same extent. So there's decreasing marginal returns, right? The more you have it, the less of an effect it will have. So that's what I think about this issue. I don't think it's a yes or no question. I think it's more complicated than that, as I explained. And yeah, a lot of people just like to throw this phrase around without really having to think much about it. I think because most people haven't really seen both sides of the coin, so they don't really know what the difference is living with and without it. So just giving my 2 cents here. Alright, that's it for this video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.